Is that? You're recording, aren't you? You're f***ing with me to cat, right? All right. Okay, hey guys, what's up? Richard Cooper, Entrepreneurs in Cars. This is a 2002 Corvette Z06. These bad boys have 405 horsepower, weighed 3,100 pounds. This is a car that Chevrolet built to compete with exotics from Italy. I'm talking Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Lightweight car, titanium exhaust. I've never driven anything like this in my entire life, so I'm excited to go for a rip in it. It is the performance bargain of the century. My boy Roy Deeks has bought this. I'm going to call him the frugal entrepreneur because he's the kind of guy that could go out and buy something a lot quicker and a lot more exotic, but he picked this. So let's find out why he bought it, get into his personal story. Let's go for a rip. All right, guys, what is up? I am in Roy Deeks' car today, and we're sitting in a Corvette Z06, 2002, 405 horsepower, 3,100 pounds. Now, I've never driven one of these before. Again, I'm told these things will move. They're very light. Chevy made these to compete with exotics, you know, Italians, right? Right. Ferraris, Lambos, stuff like that.
Maseratis.
Yeah. I'm totally shocked right now because I'm looking at a heads-up display, and this is 2002, so this car's over 10 years old. I'm blown away. All right, let's go. Why a Corvette? Like, why not a Bentley? Why not a Lambo? Why not a Ferrari? Why Z06?
Well, I've always been kind of guilty or conscious of spending money on toys and things instead of the other things in life that'll make money. So it was a compromise. I started off with a '69 Mustang. That was a compromise because I couldn't afford a Corvette when I was 22 years old. Okay. And I didn't have a back seat for a family. So once I had the Mustang for 36 years, and once that was gone, there was a couple of 2-year hiatus, and then one day I got the bug in my ear that it was time. So I went looking for a specific Corvette. I wanted something that was old enough that it wasn't going to cost a lot of money. I could justify it, and be one of the top model for that particular year because of, you know, why go second best if you're going to buy something that's not brand new? Yeah, absolutely.
You know, this car's, well, it's 2014 right now. It's a, 2002 model. It's over 10 years old now. Drives really good, to be honest with you. Feels very North American. You know, I've had a couple of GM cars and Fords in the path, and, you know, it's got that push rod, slow revving V8. It doesn't feel German. The interior buttons are kind of, you know, cheaped out on. But this thing is going to move. So we're going to find some space to open it up and see what the taps do when you give the fun pedal a little bit of a push.
It was scary.
One of my favorite cars I had when I was younger was a 1988 Chevy IROC convertible. Total Gino car, you know, Italian retard out cruising. Everybody made fun of me. But this actually reminds me a lot of that car. A little bit tighter. It's got bigger balls. A little more technology. Cool. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about you and your story, because I first met you, I don't know, around 2003 or 4, and we had connected because I had just started up my business, and you basically said something along the lines of, you know, I want to learn more about what you do and how I might be able to help, or how we might be able to help each other. You weren't looking for anything. We had lunch, we did a little bit of business together, but we've been friends since. But you've got all kinds of stories about ups and downs and wins and losses and all kinds of stuff. All right, Roy, so what's the most exciting thing you've ever done?
Well, I would say the most exciting thing I ever did was the day I walked out of corporate life at age 39. Coincidentally, the same year that my marriage separated, and I think that was the most exciting thing, walking out the door and knowing that, you know, destiny was in my own hands, and no more people ignoring your expertise or questioning you or telling you what to do.
So basically it was a day that you said to yourself, all right, let's go and do this. I'm going to become my own boss. And what did you do? Like, where did you go from there?
I was an executive in the mortgage side of financial institutions. So I went and got a mortgage broker's license and hung out a shingle, and I've been doing that since 1988. I went through a period of workaholicism, and I think the defining point in my life was finding out that you can't do everything that you want to do as fast as you want to do it. So you have to either give yourself a gut check or die of a heart attack at a young age.
Right.
So that was.
How old were you when when that thought went through your mind?
That happened in 1981.
Right.
So I was still in corporate life at that time, and I guess that was part of the reason I ended up becoming my own boss, because you know, if you're driven, I think corporate life is too restrictive because there's not enough hours in a day, and you've got people that work for you that don't have the same aspirations. So it's very frustrating.
Got it.
So that was a defining moment. Watching the sun come up for 3 days in a row without sleep, I knew I was in trouble.
Wow, wrong way to live. Roy, when things seemed darkest in your life, where did you find the strength to keep pushing through?
I got to say that probably I've been blessed with an inner strength that came from, I guess it's genetic, but an inner strength basically not to fail.
Right.
And that gives me the what's coined as a survival instinct, I guess, and whatever's happened to me in life, I've been able to land on my feet, and that basically is it. If you got that basic thing, I think everything else is just go do it.
Do you find that you perform better when your back's up against the wall?
Unfortunately, yeah.
You know what, that's true of a lot of entrepreneurs. I've talked to a lot of guys now, and the story is very common there. I just wanted to do a little check on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, maybe it's a two-sided, two-edged sword, but yeah, you seem to, it's when the tough gets tough, the tough get going kind of thing, but it is true. If you don't have that, then I think what you do is you pack up your bags and fail.
Got it. Give me an example of something in life and business that scared the crap out of you that you eventually pushed on through.
Well, the stock market crash that started in 1989, but by the time 1991 came along, I lost all of my net worth due to the real estate market. And was it scary? Was it scary as it seemed at the time? It was worse. You know, you kind of go through that period of what the hell just happened, all that work and effort and years, and you look at your age and you go, what the hell am I going to do next? But anyway, you move on, and it gave me the resolve, basically, to know that I've got my own skills, and just go for it, just dig in and make up for it, basically. And but it was scary. That wasn't as scary as that.
Wasn't as scary as that.
No.
Okay, so apparently losing all your wealth and a little slide in the slick rained wet roads is not as scary.
No.
Want to do that again?
No. Not unless I'm driving.
All right. Nice recovery, Mav. Okay, next question. What business lessons did you learn the hard way, and what advice could you give others to try to avoid those mistakes?
Well, I can only say this in hindsight, but taking on partners. My lawyer at the time, who was my age then, was an old sage, and he said, partnerships are ships that fail, that sink, rather.
Yeah.
And I went, wow, that's really good advice. Thanks a lot.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's deep, you know. And but it turned out to be a prophecy, because I didn't have very good luck with partners, and you know, it's caused some side steps and some grief, and but you know, it's one of those life lessons. And if I can give advice to anybody else, make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. Step back, take a good long hard look, and talk to other people.
Have you had any partnerships that have worked for you? Like business partnerships where you're under the same roof working together on for a common cause?
Well, I've only really had two. The first partnership worked well for 10 years, and then all of a sudden he had I think he turned into a midlife crisis, so that went sideways. But and then he brought in two partners just prior to leaving. He brought in two partners that I didn't really want at the time, and that lasted for a few years, 5 years after he left. But they were younger and going in a different direction, so
it's just a matter of fit then, right?
I would say that there was a fit, and for everybody's benefit, it probably worked well. But individually, I think it was it could have been better for each of us if it was.
Yeah. You know what? I actually share the same pain, because I've had two partnerships now that didn't last. And if I were to point to any one thing that caused a partnership to fail, one of the guys was my best friends, and we're no longer friends anymore. We were friends for a long, long time.
Yeah, I met him.
And
race car driver.
He was, yeah. It was part of his life anyway. If I could point to any one thing that made both those partnerships fails, I'm going to have to say it was, greed of money. It was just, money got in the way of the friendship and the common goal of where the business was going. And you really can't have two chiefs in one tribe. I mean, there are partnerships that have worked. Larry Page and Sergey Brin are an excellent example. The guys that headed up Google, they're still equal partners of that business, but I think they figured out a way to make it work. So, yeah, that's an interesting point.
Well, actually, just to touch on that briefly, you're absolutely right. At the root of it all, and it's even if it doesn't matter if you're the best of friends or whatever, somehow, somewhere, somebody feels they're getting shortchanged, or they're contributing more than the other person, even if it's a perception.
Yeah.
How do you quantify the efforts of one partner over the other when they're divergent tasks to begin with? But greed is at the basis of it.
Absolutely.
And that's ends up being the
Cool.
Achilles heel of any relationship.
Hey guys, I need you to do three things right now. If you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, that'll get you all the latest updates when I upload the videos. Secondly, go to Facebook and like the page there. We have tons of updates that go through there in that community. And last but not least, check out the other videos. Lots of good stuff. And if you have questions or comments for me, make sure you throw them in the bottom and I'll be sure to answer them. And that's Entrepreneurs in Cars. Oh, question for you, Roy. Do you really need a vet to get them wet?